I don't remember any of it.
You don't remember?
For you, the day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 143. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Vero. You can always email us at info@ratedgforgamers.com. Please rate and review us on iTunes. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino. This is my co-host, Dan. I want to know how many characters you've unlocked in Smash. Robinson.
Oh man, come on. Listen, I was in GameStop today, and the dude showed me a picture of all the characters he unlocked because he took a screenshot. He had like 35 characters.
Dude,
he's only been playing for like he's like only been playing for a day.
Yeah, right. There's like 70 some odd characters in the game, right? You get 8 to start. You get the 8 original Smash characters, and then you have to unlock all the other ones.
Well, I pulled a Dave Rotino. Okay, I started playing on the hard. Okay, not the hardest. I play like 5-6, difficulty, and I got my butt handed to me. I won like 2 matches. I unlocked Ness and Bowser, and I just couldn't beat anybody. So I had to lower the difficulty to like 2. And then I've unlocked Zelda. I even like Zelda, Toon Link, one of the Splatoon characters, and 2 other characters I can't think of off the top of my head because I took a Smash break.
I think I got about 8, maybe 10 more. I'm up to about 20 or so, I think. Oh, I guess I got another 12 or so, I think.
Every time you say that, and then I look at then you show me, it's like you got like 30 characters.
Nah, I don't know. I definitely don't have 30 characters yet, but yeah.
But
so we're gonna get into all that with the Smash review. We can give our thoughts on all things Smash. So,
but what's going on? What's going on, man?
Well, I mean, beyond all that, I am happy that Smash is out. Smash is the last game I want to get for the year right now. So I'm good. I don't have to spend any more money. All the gifts are done. I can just relax and play all the stuff that I got. So,
and unlike the Game Awards,
feeling good.
And unlike the Game Awards, Smash may or may not be one of our nominees for Game of the Year.
That's right. Game Awards. The Game Awards happened last Thursday. If you guys didn't catch it, you can catch the recap everywhere because they have it just available to watch after the fact, which is awesome. Because they don't do that with any other award show. Can't watch the Tonys, can't watch the Grammys, can't watch the Academy
Oscars.
Awards or anything else, or the Oscars, like, after the fact. Like, they just don't have it anywhere. Like, either you watch it at that time or that's it. Very, very old school thinking.
Wait, when is the Gamer Choice Awards? That weird award show we talked about a few episodes ago.
Oh, the CBS Gamer Choice Awards.
It has to be coming up soon.
Yeah, I don't know if it's at the end of this month or the beginning of next month, but yeah.
No, I think it's soon. I think it's I think it's before Christmas.
Well, yeah, maybe. So we'll definitely be bringing some coverage of that too. But I think that may, even though it's not out yet, that may be the lesser of the 2 Game Award shows.
All right, well, we'll get into what we've been playing. We'll get into Smash, the review roundup. We're not doing the top 10, stories, new stories of last week.
Do a little bit different.
All about the Game Awards and the Kind of Funny showcase. We'll get into that a little bit, but we have to start. Did you see Avengers Endgame trailer?
Do you think I missed the biggest movie event of next year? Of course not. Trailer got delayed slightly. It was supposed to come out Wednesday. Wednesday was apparently a day of mourning for our former president, George Bush. So everything was closed. even kind of new announcements. So they pushed it off.
I thought it was going to be shown at. I thought it was going to be shown at the Game Awards, to be honest, because the directors are going to be the brothers. They were presenting at the Game Awards, so everyone thought
the Russo brothers did present. So yeah, it's a little weird. For some reason, they couldn't snatch up the exclusive for that, but it did drop on Friday. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check that out. It is about 1.5 to 2 minutes worth of awesomeness. It looks like the Avengers are going to come back in a big way and beat Thanos.
Surprise, whoa! I don't know.
Well, I mean, you kind of get a little bit of insight into how.
Come on, Tony Stark is about. I mean, he's starving. He's about to run out of air. He's just drifting into space.
Yeah.
As he pours out his heart in a recorded message to his love, Pepper. Or was it Pepper? Miss Potts.
Pepper Potts is right. Yeah. Pepper Potts is his quote unquote wife, long-term girlfriend, I guess is the word, right? They're not married yet.
Not married yet. Wanted to start a family in the Avengers 4. Avengers 3. So sorry. We don't know where anybody is. Spider-Man is gone. Black Panther's gone. Everyone disappeared.
Well, half the cast, yeah.
Half the 50% of
universe
life
disappeared. Yeah, half the universe
gone.
disappeared. Right.
I know. Apparently, there's a plan hatched by by Captain America and Black Widow, where he says this has to work because he doesn't know what he's going to do if it doesn't work.
It's all we got. It's all we got. We happened to get a glimpse of Hawkeye, yeah, which was awesome. Glad to see.
He turned into a ninja for some reason.
Yeah. Did we all? Am I mistaken? Did we also see Ant-Man in this trailer?
No, we saw Ant-Man at the end of spoilers. At the end of Ant-Man and Wasp, Ant-Man sort of went super small, right? When everyone disappeared, and he was stuck. Don't know how he got back, but apparently he didn't disappear, and he's back to help.
Right. Yeah, so I guess like the way they kind of tie it all in is Ant-Man and the Wasp came out after Avengers. At the end of Avengers, Hank Pym and his wife disappear, right? As like the, oh shit, there's the kind of finger snap. That ties it into the timeline, right? Whereas Ant-Man in this whole thing, Ant-Man went quantum, I think, super tiny. I think he's going to have a big part.
He's going to have a big role, right?
Yeah. And also Doctor Strange, right? I think he's got some stuff up his sleeves because I think he said that he looked into the the time stone, maybe.
Yeah, no. Remember, he went back into the time stone and looked at all the alternate outcomes.
Right, and there was only one thing. There's only one outcome that worked,
and it was given the stone, the time stone, to Thanos.
Yeah, which is interesting. So I mean, I think they have a play up their sleeves. We shall see. It's coming out end of April.
It was supposed to come out at the beginning of May, and they moved it up a week.
They did that with the last one too. They also moved it up. Usually like May 3rd, whatever that first weekend in May starts off the blockbuster season. Last year they did it with a Twitter reveal of Tony Stark's character, or what's his name, the actor that plays him?
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr.
You had a name at the tip of your tongue. You didn't even say it.
Exactly. Thank you. Robert Downey Jr. and the directors had a little Twitter thing back and forth. And it's like, hey, can you move it up a week? And he's like, we got you. So they did that. They're doing that again now. They're moving it up.
I think we should just do it. We should just dedicate a whole show.
I think we're gonna have
episode to.
I think we're gonna have to.
Just like we did Batman versus Superman. We got to do a whole show for the Avengers 4 Endgame.
So yeah, super hyped for that. Definitely, we'll be bringing more coverage, and we'll have the the full on episode after the movie comes out. So that should be pretty good stuff.
All right, sticking with Marvel news. I think I'm right, man. I think I'm right. We talked about last episode where Daredevil for Netflix season 3. That was it. They canceled Daredevil.
Just kind of like all of a sudden,
Yeah, but it comes out this week that they canceled it despite it had high viewership.
Oh yeah, it did really well. Like season 1 great, season 2 okay, season 3 phenomenal, critically acclaimed, and the numbers back it up to show it based on this article that came out.
But they still canceled it. It has to be the master plan of Disney to bring all of these shows to their streaming service. Right? It just makes sense. Makes sense.
And I think the only reason that The Punisher hasn't been canceled and Jessica Jones has been canceled is that they have stuff in the can that needs to come out. They have obligations. So,
I know. I think Jessica Jones, because season 2 just came out a few months ago. Jessica Jones, I think, is going to be canceled next. Punisher won't be canceled because I think they're in the middle of shooting, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, they have to be. Yeah. So,
but that'll be canceled right afterwards. and
I mean,
to the streaming service.
Yeah. I was kind of like, that's an interesting theory. Maybe that's the case. And I was really more leaning towards, well, the numbers were just poor, right? They're just going to like cut off the excess, like the extra fat, right? But
at this point, listen, at this point, all these studios are seeing that they can just put out their own streaming service and put out their own content, right?
Oh yeah. Netflix is not the only game in town anymore.
Yeah. And this is why Netflix is putting in billions of dollars into making their own content. I just think at some point somebody's just going to buy Netflix. One of these studios is just going to buy Netflix. It's inevitable.
I really hope not.
I really think one of these studios is just going to buy Netflix because at some point everybody is going to have their own streaming service, right? And then it's which streaming service are you going to subscribe to? It's going to be a fight for that because everyone's cutting the cord. I honestly only have cable for my sister, right? Like it's really just for her. I would cut the cord if it was just me. I wouldn't even have cable.
I mean, the only thing that's kind of crucial and hard to get otherwise is the sporting events, right? If you're really into sports and want to see your local sports team, like you have to shell out specific money for that, right?
But these apps, I know, but these apps, there are several apps like the PlayStation View, like you can have those sports channels for a certain price. Yeah, you can have ESPN and stuff like that for a certain price with PlayStation View. So I just think that's where we're headed. Somebody's inevitably going to buy Netflix because Netflix is going to be all original content at some point.
That's kind of what they're going for, right? They're realizing that the writing's on the wall, that now it's easy enough for any like studio to hire some developers and make their own platform, right? You know, we're like back in the day, Netflix was the innovator. And they were like, well, look, you have all these great movies, put them on our platform and we'll give you a cut. Or, we'll pay X amount for them, right? But now it's like, well, everyone else is doing it. Like, why come to Netflix? And for the last like couple of years, they've had like great shows. So good move on their part, I think. But
as a side note, did you see this ridiculous Soulja Boy console?
I did. So Soulja Boy, the rapper, if you guys remember him, I don't know if he's had a hit single in a while.
I don't think he has.
I'm wrong. Yeah.
I'll be honest. After Superman, I don't remember if he did anything else.
Superman was his big hit, doing the little Superman dance.
That was like 10 years ago, though.
I know. I think I was still working at retail at that point, so that's how long ago it was. So he's getting in on the console game, right? These kind of all-in-one console systems that have been coming out left and right. So he's got this new bit. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the design and what's in it and whatnot.
It looks just like a miniature Xbox One X, right? But I was watching Spawnwave, great YouTube channel. Well, everyone should go check him out. And he was saying that was like a clone console that he's been looking at for a few months that he was actually going to purchase. And it looks like Soulja Boy just slapped his name on it.
Right. So he's just got his branding over this console, which you could technically get already.
The console looks like a mini Xbox One Xbox One S, and the controller looks like a bootleg DualShock controller.
Right. So he's got
bridging the war. Okay, bringing them together.
So it's got there's two different versions. There's the Soulja game, and then
oh god, that sounds terrible.
I think it's called the Soulja game, the console one, and then there's Soulja Watch, right? Well, actually, no. Soulja Watch is the place where you can buy. There's so many different names here. Soulja Watch is where you can buy them,
and everything is Soulja.
Yeah, so there's a home console one, and then there's a handheld version, which apparently can play Switch games.
Yeah. How long do you think before Nintendo shuts this down?
Oh, it's going to be pretty quick, especially since, Soldier Boy has a little bit of notoriety behind him and whatnot. He's a little bit of a name. He's going to be repping the crap out of it. Definitely Nintendo is going to have it in their crosshairs. Where previously, like, you could get it through like AliExpress, right? And you get it from some Chinese manufacturer or whatnot. So it kind of flew a little bit under the radar, but I don't know. I think this is going to be a hard pass for me.
This is beneath him. Like, he could have just called Nintendo and said, "Let me endorse Smash Brothers." Come on. He could have endorsed Mortal Kombat 11, which we'll talk about later.
So you want to know how much this piece is going to cost you?
Too much.
Okay, you can get the console or the handheld system for $200 each.
It's 200 too much.
That's 200 too much. Yeah.
I'm sure the emulation on that is poor.
It's probably awful. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily that great. When there's a million different clone console options out there.
I know.
I don't know what really sets this one apart. Unless it's got stellar emulation, it's doubtful. So, who knows?
Speaking of poor emulation, we'll talk about that in a minute. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Allo.
Yep.
Now, you love those old
Sierra Adventure
games back in the day. I dabbled in them. I wasn't really big on those. I was really big in first person shooters back in those early days. And we talked about it before. I used to be a PC gamer way back in the day. I had a Macintosh, and then I had a Leading Edge, which I don't even remember what that was.
They're definitely not around anymore. Yeah,
they're definitely not around anymore.
Yeah. So from the house of King's Quest and Space Quest and Leisure Suit Larry and just all those kind of classic game franchises. Allo, the creator of Leisure Suit Larry and Torrance Passage and a handful of other like just amazing games, he is putting his source code collection on eBay for sale, which is insane. And Metal Jesus did a whole video, went to his house and had a big in-depth video with Drunken Master Paul, which was great. It's a good watch. He's just kind of lit up and delighted because he didn't even know what he had up in his attic, and he pulls everything out. He's like, you know what? I think it's time to get rid of this stuff. And he's basically got the only copies of the source code because back in the day, Sierra didn't make copies. So they would just print the discs and then send them out, and they never had any backups. Al was
crazy. They never made any backups. That's crazy.
No, like in like today's day and age when everything's kind of all connected and whatnot. Like you're just like, how could you imagine? But back in the day, it took a lot of work. It was a manual process to flip the discs and all that, and kind of archive that stuff. Al was smart enough to do all this. And, he's kind of selling off everything. So if you want a little piece of history, check it out on eBay. I'm sure they're going to go for a pretty penny, but, I would love to own some of these discs for sure.
Wow.
For sure.
Dave, you any good pickups this week?
Mm-hmm. I did definitely get some good pickups. Smash Brothers, obviously, the last big game in my eyes to come out this year. Smash Ultimate, and also happened to pick up via a random garage sale. This guy apparently was moving and he lost his storage space, so I went down to see what he had. He had some consoles there, which were in okay condition. And then he also showed me some PC games. I was kind of, well, you have anything else? And he was like, well, I may have some PC games back here. I said, I'm very interested in that. So I got Shadowbane for the PC. The Capcom Arcade Classics Volume 1, which has Street Fighter and Street Fighter 2 on there.
Nice.
Which also has support for PDA. It literally says on there for your Windows XP or PDA machine.
I had one of those.
Right? You had the old trio, right?
Oh, I had the whole trio, man.
You're right.
Man. I thought I was I thought I was the man. Okay. I had the trio. And I had the Razor, and then I had an iPod all on my belt. Back in the day when you had everything was hanging off your belt. You had
right, because they were so huge.
Everyone was back
in your pocket.
everyone was like Batman. We had a utility belt.
I just yeah. So I find it very funny that game says specifically PDA support. So it's definitely of that time. Beyond that, The Sims 2 Holiday Pack, Gun for the PC. If you remember
I remember that.
You remember the Red Dead-esque game that came out around the same time as Red Dead.
I have that. I have Gun for PS2, GameCube, and I think it came out on Xbox. I think I probably have it on Xbox too.
Gun was that a Capcom game?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
I don't know who developed it, but Gun began and end. The franchise of Gun began and ended with the first Gun. And then the final pickup, EverQuest Evolution, which I believe is the complete collection of all the EverQuest games, sealed, which was actually kind of nice. So.
Whoa, you got it sealed.
Yeah, I got all that stuff for a good price. It's probably going to stay sealed because I don't even think the EverQuest servers are online anymore. It's been forever.
Gun, Activision, Neversoft Interactive.
Neversoft. There you go. From the house that bought you Tony Hawk. And I also managed to pick up, because this guy had them, a couple pairs of 3D glasses. So you never know when you're going to need them.
You never know when you're going to pick up a 3D TV one day that you'll find in the garage sale because they don't make them anymore.
Right. So how about you, Dan? What did you pick up this week?
So, bear with me.
I will.
I got Smash Brothers, but I got the Smash Brothers, like the special edition that came with the Pro controller, Smash Pro controller. I brought a crap load of amiibo, and I brought the 3-pack of the new Splatoon amiibo. I got a new Splatoon amiibo. I got Ridley. I got Fox. Wolf. I got the last Wolf at the Nintendo store. So I work by I work in close proximity, a few blocks away from the Nintendo store. So whenever a Nintendo game comes out, I just go to the Nintendo store to buy it.
Quick, nice to be that close by.
Quick side note. I brought all of this stuff, spent a few $100s, and I didn't know that they were giving out free pendant or a coin if you bought Smash. The guy never said anything to me. I went back because I was buying more amiibo over the weekend. And that's how I found out. I went back and the guy next to me was buying Smash, and the guy was like, "Hey, since you're buying Smash, here's a free pendant." I was like, "Wait, what? You didn't offer me that yesterday when I bought it, when I bought the game?" The guy refused to give it to me. Like, he refused. He was just store policy. They should have gave it to you. I'm sorry. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I spent like a few $100s. And I was like, what if I brought the receipt back? He didn't even say, if you have the receipt, come back, I'll give it to you. I had to bring up what if I had a receipt? And he's just like, well, if you had the receipt, maybe. So I left, and I was walking around the city, and I realized I reached in like my inner pocket in my coat, because, in New York City, it is really cold. It's cold outside.
Yep, definitely 30s all around,
But I realized I had the receipt in my pocket, in my inner pocket. And I was like, oh, wow. So I went back, waited in line, went up to the counter, and I got a different guy this time. And I was like, listen, man, you guys gypped me yesterday. I spent a few $100s and didn't give me a free pendant or a coin. And I didn't even have to show the receipt. This guy at the register was really nice. And he was just like, hey, sorry they didn't, I'm sorry they should have offered it to you. We ran out of pendants, but here's a free Smash coin. So I got a free Smash coin to go with the collection, which I would never open. I actually still, when Nintendo, we went to that Nintendo showcase for the Switch when they were showcasing the Switch before it came out.
That's right. Back in March or February 2017. Yeah.
2017. I still have the pen, magnet, and cookie they gave us.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I have not opened it. I've not opened the cookie. The cookie.
I think I may have eaten the cookie by now.
I had 2 cookies. One I ate and one I kept, and I still have the cookie. I did not open the cookie.
I mean, it's sealed.
It's sealed.
As long as it's not getting mold on it.
Well, you know what? Remember the cereal back in the 80s? I'm sure there's still some sealed boxes of cereal. I would pay to see someone eat a bowl of cereal that was made in the 80s sealed.
I mean, certain things last forever, like honey and pasta last a damn long time. But yeah, I don't think
Nintendo cereal. I don't think Nintendo cereal.
Yeah.
So I got a crap load of amiibo. I can't even get into. I got even more of those Totaku figures. I just can't stop buying those things. Every time I see a new one, I'll pick them up. So I picked up a bunch of Crash Bandicoot figurines, the bad guy, the Coco with the love interest. I got the gold Crash Bandicoot. Also picked up Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Gears of War. I picked up the Gears of War one. Every time I see them, I got to pick some up. So I got those. But I did tell you last week that I picked something up that related to Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
That if I got it, I'll tell you this week. And it came in a few days ago. And because of you, I give you credit because I didn't even know this existed. And if I did,
I had some of these back in the day. I know what you're going to say.
And if I did, I forgot. When I was a kid, I forgot about it. But before there was a Nintendo Power, they had a Nintendo Fun Club news magazine, and I picked up 2 of them. So
That's right. They had about 5 or 6 small volumes that have come out, and then they quickly moved to Nintendo Power, because they realized, oh hey, this is a thing. Let's go ahead and make let's just make a full-fledged magazine out of it, right? And thus, Nintendo Power was born, and it has since ceased to be, right? Nintendo Power is done, but they have a podcast now, apparently, which is supposed to be pretty good.
Nintendo Power podcast, which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't listened
to it yet,
but I got the main one I really wanted to get was the Zelda 2 one because I was playing Zelda 2 a couple of weeks ago.
Classic, a game that not a lot of people give a lot of love to, but it is I think a good game.
I need to get the first Zelda 1, the original Zelda magazine for Nintendo Fun Club. That one is a little pricey. That one can range between $40 and $80, depending on if you get a good auction. Buy it now is listed mainly at like $68, $72.
Mm-hmm.
So I will pick it up. I will pick it up, just not anytime soon. But I will buy it.
I think I had from episode or volume 2 onward. I know I had the RC Pro M1, I think, and the Mike Tyson's Punch Out, right? And I think I had the hockey one with like the Sports 88 or whatever.
That's the one. That's the other one I have. I have the ice hockey one, and I have the Zelda 2 on the cover.
Mm-hmm. Iconic. That reminded me, not about the Nintendo Fun Club stuff, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention the awesome pickup I got from Special Reserve Games. Because I ordered it a hell of a ton while ago. It's super cool. One of my favorite games, the game that I've been playing all this year, Enter the Gungeon. I got the special edition with the book. They have a special leather-bound book that has all of the items, weapons, enemies. Basically, like the in-game thing is the Ammonomicon, which is based off the Necronomicon. And it's just a compendium of like everything in the game. So there's a beautiful book to go along with the game in this nice custom case. Super cool.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It actually looked cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big Enter the Gungeon fan. I know you've been playing it for the longest time.
Oh, I love it.
But good thing they came out with a physical release.
Indeed.
We'll talk about
them and Limited Run, both.
We'll definitely talk about a big game that had a physical release that I am pissed that I did not wait. I was waiting this whole time.
You knew it was going to happen eventually. You knew it was going to happen eventually.
But to round up my pickups, I also picked up Monster Boy for the Switch. Mm-hmm. Awesome game. This is supposed to come out in November, but it got delayed until December. I love it because it actually comes with a manual. Inside manual.
Hey, that's a rare occurrence nowadays.
That is a rare occurrence.
All right.
So, Dave, as we always try to start the show but epically fail, what have you been playing? And I already know the answer to this. My
favorite part of the show. Well, of course you do. Of course you do. Red Dead Redemption 2 for the Xbox. Of course, it's Smash, right? It's Smash. I did manage to sneak in a little bit of Red Dead. I did manage to I did manage to sneak in a little bit of Final Fantasy 3 for the Super Nintendo Classic because you're
still trying to 100% that.
That's right. That's right. I have no hiccups. Haven't missed any monsters. I'm good. I'm well on the way to go. Maybe another couple days of playing, and I'll be able to put this puppy to bed. But yeah, Smash is the big one for me. So what about you, Dan? What have you been getting into this week?
Monster Boy on the Switch. When I first got it, I've been playing that mostly on the go. I haven't played it at all on the TV or in my computer monitor. I haven't played it and with the Pro Controller. I should. I want to, but I haven't had a chance to. I really dived deep into the PlayStation Classic. I played a bunch of games, like Twisted Metal, Metal Gear Solid.
Do you do a
Battle Arena Toshinden 1, 2, Battle 1 and 2, Battle Toshinden 1. Even got into Tekken 3, and it is every bit as awful as everyone's putting it out.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, if your views align with that of IGN and the rest of the internet. The answer is yes. Yeah.
The answer is yes. It's pretty bad. It's pretty.
There you go. It's quantifiably a poor to average system.
It is bad emulation. It's 50 hertz. Why would they use the PAL version? Beyond me.
I don't know. Like, why did they think that would be a better experience for people?
I like the controller. The controller feels just as light and aerodynamic as the original PlayStation 1 controller.
So I like there, I guess.
I like the controller. The cord is pretty short, but that's okay. So is the NES Classic. It's longer than NES Classic.
It is. Okay. So it has to be at least 6 feet then.
A little bit longer than NES Classic.
Yeah.
It's not that much longer. The console, it's small, fits in your hand. That's cool. I like that one. I like the size of it. It's just it's just terrible. It's just bland. The menu is bland, terrible to look at. If you leave the NES Classic and SNES Classic and just like standby mode, just leave it alone, it will play sort of like a screensaver, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't happen on PlayStation on a PS Classic.
Well,
that's terrible.
Yeah.
And these are minor gripes, right? But still, little things that show that they put effort into it. The game is just slow, and I don't know how people in the PAL region played these games back in the day, but I guess this is what it was, right? Like,
well, I mean, hertz. The problem is that we have a 60 hertz frame rate, and they have 50 hertz, right? So I think that's kind of the problem. Like, in doing that conversion, that kind of slows things down a little bit, right? I'm not sure the particulars behind the tech and whatnot, but I think that's the reason. Like, if you played PAL version games in the PAL territory, I think they'd run a lot smoother because everything kind of matches up with the TV.
Yeah, I want to go back just to like Metal Gear Solid, right? Like that was a game I really missed. That was the first game I gotta say I never really played. I mostly watched people do it and was sort of like couch co-op where I'm like, no, go to the side, go hide to the left, hide to the left. Like I never actually played Metal Gear. I was always the sidekick, right? I was always like reading the magazine, helping a friend go get through it. So I never played it personally.
Yeah.
Because I don't like stealth. Right. That game, stealth game.
Yeah, that game is 100% stealth. It's all about not getting caught.
But it was so like, it was such a game where it was like groundbreaking for the time, and I was watching someone play, and it was fun to watch him play and help him, but it wasn't fun for me to play it.
Right.
So, I actually want to go back and play a little bit of it and see if I can stand it now. Nostalgia purposes.
Right.
Still not going to play Resident Evil 1. Director's cut or not. I'm not going to do that. But so I've been playing that. Been playing Devil May Cry 5, the demo. That came out. That dropped during E3. I mean E3. E3 2, you mean the Game Awards.
Yeah, the Game Awards, right. Right.
It came out first on Xbox. I'm sure there's going to be a demo for PlayStation at some point. It's pretty much. I feel like I'm playing a half a level in a boss battle. I mean, you could beat it in 15 minutes.
Well, that's what a demo is, you know.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's exactly what it is. You can beat it in 15 minutes. I've played a little bit of Devil May Cry 2, I want to say. I wasn't really big in the Devil May Cry series. I feel like as soon as I started playing, I was like, wow, this is like Bayonetta. Right. So this is
you should say Bayonetta is like Devil May Cry. Because that's been out since like 2001, I think, is when, or 2002 maybe.
I have all the Devil May Cry games, and I have all the remasters. I have the trilogy remaster on the PS3. The problem with Devil May Cry 5 is all about the combo system. Right? Like you really have to combo and level up that way. You don't really have to combo. You can in the Bayonetta game. Now, I don't know if there's an easy mode, right? When a game comes out and you put in an easy mode, so you don't really need the combos. But you can put like an auto combo button on here where it just combos will automatically come up as you fight through. So I've been playing that, and I've been playing Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Of course.
How do you like the game? Let's just get into it. How do you like the game?
I love the game. I do have some thoughts on the UI and kind of easing even me as a seasoned vet of Smash Brothers, kind of how to get around and how to get into stuff. You know, if I was a new player, if I was a kid who picked this game up and tried to start playing, it is very confusing. Right.
Oh, it is so convoluted.
Right, because they have like a million different modes now. There's the single player, just pick up and battle somebody. There's the classic mode arcade thing. There's the challenges. There's like the 100-man mode. There's the brand new like adventure mode, among other things. There's tons of these little things, and they're all in different menus. Right, they're all over the place. You know. It's just hard to know, like, okay, here's what, you know, play around here and, you know, kind of get used to this character. Here's how the game plays out. You know, they don't really do any of that. They just go like, hey, you can do what you want.
I told you, it took me like 10 minutes to figure out. I just want a match. Just give me a match. When I first got the game, I was like on the train. I just want to get a match. And I was like, wait, what do you mean choose my rule set? Like, just give me a regular match.
Yeah, exactly. You can do all this custom stuff. Yeah, it's
I don't want to dive into customizing the rules right away. Just give me a regular match.
Exactly. There is no ease into it. You know.
Yeah, and that would be my biggest complaint with the game. Well, let's get into a review roundup. Okay, right now on Metacritic, it is at a 93.
That's a solid score.
This is the first time I gotta say, maybe, that I can remember of ever doing a review roundup. I couldn't really find an outlier. As of this recording, I couldn't find an outlier. I couldn't find someone who just didn't like the game at all and gave it a ridiculous score. Right?
Yeah, right.
So Nintendo Life gave it a perfect score of 100. Game Informer gave it a 95. Destructoid gave it a 95. IGN gave it a 94, and Games Radar gave it a 90. Now, I found other scores that were in the 80s, but they sort of knocked it for it being convoluted and not easy to pick up and go, right?
Right.
Not easy for beginners.
Right.
There was nothing really bad about the game from a gameplay standpoint.
Right.
Complained
the game
about.
Is very balanced. There's a ton of characters, a lot of stuff to do, but.
So that's why I didn't add any of those scores of 85 and 88 or whatever like that from other outlets, because I just couldn't find anybody who found a problem with the actual game.
No. I think all the modes are super tight. The controls are good. Tons of stuff to do. So I'm 100% there. It's not 100. It's not 100. I mean, it's no surprise that Nintendo Life is going to give it a very good score, even a perfect score in this case. It's definitely not a perfect game, but it's hella fun. It's hella fun.
Listen, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm going to start playing the difficulty on 1 because I want to unlock like 30 characters right now. At this point, I want to unlock 30. And then I don't know if you know, but there's an easy way to do it too.
Mm-hmm.
So when you
I don't actually fill me in if you don't mind.
So when you actually play a match and it says a new character has been introduced and you play them and you beat them.
Yep.
Hit the home button, get out of the game, close the game, go back, and then have a match, beat whoever you have a match with, and then you'll have another character has been introduced into a game, and then you do the same thing,
and you'll do the battle against that character.
Beat them but the whole thing is you got to win. That's the thing, because once you lose, then it's over. You got to start over again.
Right. You can actually every now and again, like if you lose to one of the new challengers, there is, and again, this kind of goes to the really horrible UI and the tons of different menus, and they don't tell you anything. There is one of the menus that has a little thing in the bottom right-hand corner, and you can re-challenge those fighters again.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That part I didn't know.
Yeah, well, they don't actually tell you that, and it's very hard to find. I keep forgetting. I keep coming across it, and then later on forgetting where that option is. So, yeah. Because
I'm not gonna lie, I lost to Kid Icarus.
Yeah.
Somebody else.
It'll happen. It'll happen. I lost to Ryu, and I think KR Rule, and a couple of people.
So the game is amazing. I would say pick it up. Pick up the special edition if you can find it with the Smash Pro controller.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this game is meant to be played with the Pro controller. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Either like the Pro controller or the actual Smash controller. Either one of those for sure.
All right, so let's take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna dive deep into the Game Awards
and the Kind of Funny Games Showcase.
And we're back. All right, let's get into the Game Awards. All right. This award show was overall, I'm gonna say, it was really good. Okay, it was better than 2 years ago.
I would agree. Oh, you talking about with Chick Razorman coming out?
Yeah, the 2016 Game Awards, pretty bad, pretty cringeworthy, I would say. Last year was much better. This year, built on the success of last year. I gotta say, less cringy. But let's talk about the awards first, and then we'll get into the game announcements, right? Because this was an award show. Let's talk about who won.
Yep.
So I think one of the first awards announced was the best action game. Now, I gotta say, I totally disagree. Now, Dead Cells won. Controversial game over the summer.
Controversial?
Well, IGN, that guy.
Oh, well, the whole debacle with Philip Mewson, sure.
His name should not be spoken on this show.
Oh, come on now. No, we should run his name through the mud, because that guy is horrible, and
he's back on YouTube. He's back on YouTube. He's making videos.
I'm sure he is.
He still have not come up with an apology.
Yeah, right. All right. Oh, he's ridiculous.
So it won Best Action Game. It beat Call of Duty Black Ops 4. It beat Destiny 2 Forsaken. Well, you know what? Maybe not Destiny. Let's not talk about Destiny 2 Forsaken. That has its issues. It beat Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
And Mega Man 11, which
sure.
I'm giving Mega Man 11 a lot more credit than a lot of people are. I really like Mega Man 11.
It's good.
It's the first Mega Man game I ever beat.
Right. It's really good, but I don't think it's groundbreaking in any way. They moved it forward a bit, but
groundbreaking in any way. I thought Dead Cells was great.
Dead Cells is fantastic, man. The art style is amazing. The way you kind of gain abilities, as you go through, I know, when I first started playing that game, there were certain parts of the levels that are all randomly generated that I couldn't get to because I didn't have a special power yet, and I'm like, well, how do I get it, right? As you go through the game, when you beat certain bosses, sometimes they'll drop special power-ups that'll give you a wall jump, or you'll be able to travel through these different gates, which open up eventually, or you can punch through different parts of the walls when they have the special symbol on there. So I don't know. I'm very happy it won Best Action Game.
Well, that was the only award. Well, but okay, that was one of maybe 2 or 3 awards I totally disagreed with.
Really? Out of that group, who would you have picked?
I think I would have picked Mega Man 11 or Far Cry 5. Honestly, really? I haven't played Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Mm-hmm.
Dead Cells, again, great game. Destiny 2 Forsaken has its issues. Far Cry 5 was just overshadowed by God of War because it came out the same month. And Mega Man 11, I thought was good for a new Mega Man game that we haven't had in like how many years?
Well,
I thought it was really good.
How much have you played of Far Cry 5?
I would say enough that I would have said it could have won Best Action Game.
You kind of danced around that, but okay. I don't know. I tell you this, I played a little bit of it. It seemed kind of cool. Nothing rubbed me the wrong way. It was just like, okay, it's another big open world game. I'll get to it when I get to it. It's just too many of the things that came out around that time, or that I had in my backlog that I had to go and play. So
I tell you this, it's still in my queue. I still want to. I have to go back to it and play it.
All right. Let me know. Let me know when you get back to that game, because I don't know.
I really like Far Cry 5.
It was good. Yeah, it was good, but it wasn't the best action game of the year for me.
Dead Cells. I played it. And I wasn't. It wasn't even. I'll be honest. It wasn't even on my radar until the whole IGN debacle. Right, with the man who shall not be named, at least from my mouth. His name.
I'll talk about him all day. I'll run his name through the mud.
So yeah, it wasn't even my radar until that happened, and then I played it. Yeah, you know what? It was good. I liked it. I didn't dislike it. It just didn't keep my attention for a long period of time.
All right.
So, all right. So let's talk about the one that everyone was sort of scratching their head about. Was the best role-playing games. The best RPG went to Monster Hunter World. Now, some people are saying, is Monster Hunter World really an RPG? Right? Would you categorize that as an RPG? I mean, it beat Dragon Quest 11, right? That's an RPG, right?
Right. Dragon Quest 11 game that I own, I have on my shelf. I just got it. Haven't played it yet, so.
But you play a lot. You played a lot of the Dragon Quest games.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I have.
And you've been talking about you want to get this game so you can play it. I mean, it's in your backlog. Yeah. But it's a game that you're probably going to play as soon as we hit the first snowstorm. And you're going to like pour the.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get into it. I mean, like the thing of it is with Monster Hunter. It's basically an MMO without a monthly subscription fee in my eyes, right? Which is the same as say a World of Warcraft, or which is the same as say Final Fantasy 14 or 11. They do have. I mean, they do very much have role playing elements. It is more actiony, but it's like an action role playing game, right? It's an action RPG in that case, right? But it's not actiony like say Dark Souls is or like Bloodborne is, right? It's just kind of like you move your guy around a little bit to avoid some fire, and then you click on some buttons and wait for the stuff to cool down, right? So, I mean, I don't see what other category you would put it into, right? Because they didn't have an MMO category at this year's Game Awards, right? Because they don't really put out MMOs anymore, so you wouldn't have that many. You just have Monster Hunter.
Your argument is... Your argument is, where else would you put this game? My argument is, I'm fine with it being in the category. I just don't see how it can win. When Octopath Traveler, by all accounts, everyone thought this was the most phenomenal RPG of the year. I thought this was a no-brainer for Octopath Traveler. And you can even listen. They couldn't even. This was sold out everywhere, right? Like they couldn't print enough of this game. Everybody was, wanted this game. Everyone was talking about this game. Even Pillars of Eternity 2. I heard a lot of people talk about that. Ni no Kuni 2 sort of came and went. Dragon Quest 11 sort of came and went a little bit. I didn't hear too much about it. Monster Hunter World was the best-selling game in Capcom history, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, everyone was like super hyped for it, so
I thought Octopath Traveler had this in the bag, to be honest.
Right.
So that was the most controversial award, win, I should say. I would say the internet kind of blew up over. So let's talk about, and this is something you can attest to, the best VR AR game. Now, you haven't played this, but Joe, who had on a show a while ago, he was all about this game because he's our VR guy.
He's a big fan. He's a big fan of Astrobot VR. Right. It's one of the only games on the list that I haven't played.
Well, Astrobot won best VR AR game. It beat out Moss. It beat out other VR titles, but this is the game that you haven't played that everyone's telling you need to play. I even said I picked it up just because I put it in my backlog. It's sitting on my coffee table, ready for me to dust off the PSVR. I still haven't done that yet. I restructured my whole game room a few weeks ago, and the only thing I still have not touched is the PlayStation VR that is sitting on my coffee table with its glorious wires hanging everywhere.
Yeah. Look, you have to just look, the way I have mine set up is I just have the wire that goes to the headset that sticks out of the cabinet, and everything else is tucked away. So I pull it out when I need to pull it out, and then I end up playing it, and then, put it back in the thing, and you just see the helmet and a little wire sticking out. It's very clean.
I know it was a little disappointing to you because when we went over the Game Award nominees, you really thought Tetris Effect would have won this.
Tetris Effect, category. It is an amazing experience. Granted, I haven't played Astrobot yet, but I mean, Tetris just kind of blew me away. Like it was amazing just to get in there. It's classic Tetris with a couple of tweaks and just amazing visuals like wrapped around the game board. You know what? I still have to pick up Tetris Effect. I got the demo, fell in love with the demo, haven't played it in VR. But I love Tetris. I played Tetris. I think that is the #1 mobile game I have. Like, I play that game every day on the train. Is Tetris. So, and I just play it on the top level, the hardest difficulty, just bring down blocks down really fast. And that's sort of what I do on my commute to work and home from work. So I got to pick up Tetris Effect. I really dig it. The last Tetris game I picked up for the Vita. And then the Vita had some issues with syncing trophies, which pissed me off, which is why I stopped playing it. I definitely got some trophies that hasn't been synced for some reason. Oh man! Speaking of trophies, I'm well on my way to platinuming Tetris Effect, and I think I can do it. Like every time I play, I get at least 1 to 2 new trophies. Right? I'm just hitting them. So there's a couple that are going to be a little tough. I got to double S rank everything in the entire game, which I thought I was good, but you need to be real good to get those double S. So,
all right, let's talk about the best fighting game, and I called it Dragon Ball FighterZ. Was no, I couldn't see any of the other games beating that.
Definitely the best Dragon Ball experience. It's solid. It's beautiful. It's got all the characters you want. They've been supporting it with DLC. I honestly thought Soul Calibur was going to take it because that is a very good package. But no.
The fighting style, the art style, I felt like I was playing Goku the cartoon.
Oh yeah,
just because it was so beautiful, and the story alone was awesome. I liked the way they broke it up, where you could even play as the bad guys. The story in Soul Calibur 6, a little convoluted. Didn't really understand it. It was a little bit boring. I got to be honest.
It's always a little bit convoluted because there's so much history and everything going on that yeah.
So The Messenger, phenomenal game. You played it at PAX East. I've been playing the heck out of it. I haven't played it in a month. I haven't played it in about a month. I got sort of sidetracked with a bunch of other stuff, but I got stuck on a boss battle.
Yep.
I definitely have been 6 hours, maybe 5-6 hours in, but it won best debut indie game.
Yeah.
So I was a little confused at this. I was a little confused at this category because I was best debut indie game.
You're right. So I think what they're saying is not necessarily like best new like franchise game or whatever, right? Because who knows if this is going to get a sequel? Who knows if any game's going to get a sequel? I think it's for the new studios, right? So it's anytime a brand new studio comes out, this is their first game, and the game does really well, you'll get a nomination and a win in the case of The Messenger if it's that good. This game is like incredible. Messenger definitely the one. Like it blows everybody else out of the water.
Okay, so this is one I totally disagreed with. Overcooked 2 won best family game.
Now, why would you disagree with that?
Okay, it was going up against Mario Tennis Aces, which I played the demo. I still don't own the game.
I'm very upset that I bought it. I'm very upset.
Wow! Whoa! Rewind. Talk about this. You were all about buying this game over the summer, and you bought it.
I mean, I thought it was going to be good, and it's not bad, but it's just kind of like, I never played Tetris games. Like, why did I think I was going to really get into this? You know,
tennis games. You mean tennis games?
Yeah, exactly. You know.
All right, Nintendo Labo. I can understand. It's if we wait 6 more months, the price will drop even further, and I'll pick it up and never open it. It'll just be sitting on my shelf. The most expensive cardboard you'll ever buy.
That's right.
Starlink Battle for Atlas. I still don't understand why it's in the family game category. Maybe it's because it's toys to life. Apparently, across the board, everybody bought this game for Star Fox on the Switch. So that's maybe in 10 years, the starter pack for Xbox and Xbox One and PS4 would be expensive.
Yeah,
because no one bought it. All right. But I thought this was going to go hands down to Super Mario Party. It got great reviews. Everyone said this was the best Mario Party game we've had in years. It's great for the family. The Switch is killing it. I thought this would have been a no-brainer for Super Mario Party to win.
Really? Well, the thing of it is, like, Mario Party is a game you can play with your family, but it has almost zero cooperation, right? You're basically all out for blood. There are like, 2v2 and 3-on-1 and whatnot, but essentially like you want to win, right? Overcooked is all about cooperation, right? You have to get these orders out. You have to prep, cook, plate, and clean the dishes, right? It's the whole kitchen experience, right? And it's so cute. Like the story's great. Like they end up bringing the bread back from the dead, right? So everything is the unbread, and you have to serve all these people to ward off the zombie bread. I don't know. I love the first one. The story is ridiculous. The characters are super cute, and the gameplay is tight. I'm about it. I don't know.
All right, I've never played an Overcooked game. Maybe one day when this goes down in price, I'll pick it up to take a look. Take a look at it. Maybe I'm wrong. Sure. I was wrong about Mario and plus Rabbids, right?
I was trying to tell you, man. I was trying to tell you.
Maybe I'm wrong about Overcooked. I don't think I am wrong about Overcooked. At least Mario plus Rabbids, I was looking forward to buying it when the price went down. The Overcooked would just not be on my radar at all.
Well, I mean, I guess what I can say is if Mario Party won Super Mario Party, I definitely wouldn't be upset because that game is solid. They got rid of the awful car mechanic that they had in the previous games. They added some new things that are like really kind of neat and new to the series. So, it's a strong contender.
Then let's talk about a little sleeper hit that came out earlier in the year. It was the first 10 out of 10, first perfect score of the year from IGN, from any outlet. And that was the game, a little indie game called Celeste.
Oh, my God. Yeah, this blew up the gaming world.
So this was nominated for Game of the Year, which in itself is an honor, right? To be nominated for Game of the Year. Like that's anything that's like of the year, album of the year, movie of the year. Game of the Year is just an honor for a studio, right? Because you get that recognition, right? You get that notoriety,
especially this year too. Like with all the heavy hitters that came out, there's a lot of stiff competition. Yeah.
So, but it won Best Games for Impact and Best Indie Game of the Year.
And the impact thing is kind of games that I guess go beyond, have a message to them and whatnot, or or maybe kind of a little bit off the beaten path. You know, I think last year or the year before, That Dragon Cancer won Games for Impact. And, you know, that was all about this guy decided to make this game about, I believe, his daughter's journey with cancer, you know, and it's kind of a unique experience, not a traditional video game in the least. And, you know, the game like Celeste is a great puzzle game, which also kind of deals with depression as kind of its backstory, right? So, you know, like her kind of climbing up the mountain and all this stuff is, you know, kind of like an allegory for handling depression, I think, in a way.
So it's a phenomenal game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should have won. Honestly, it could have won best score as well. However, that plus best performance and best narrative, just to name a few, because I think it wrapped up 5 awards in total.
Mm-hmm.
All went to Red Dead Redemption.
Oh my God, I know. I'm surprised. Red Dead didn't win Best Fighting Game because it just kept winning awards
every time I turned around. And best game, you know, anything, whatever the categories, you name it, Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption.
It won like 5 awards.
It certainly should be winning. Certainly should be winning all those awards. You know, the game is amazing, right? It's not perfect. No game is, but it has a lot going for it.
Now, the shock of the night, and I gotta say, I was on my couch and I jumped up, screaming, clapping. I was all about this.
Mm-hmm.
This game not only won Best Game Direction, but this won the GOAT, baby. This won the Game of the Year. It beat Red Dead, the juggernaut, Red Dead Redemption 2, and that is God of War.
Yeah, God of War Game of the Year. Yeah. Yeah,
I was shocked. I was ready for him to say Red Dead Redemption 2 because I was just like, all right, just give it to him.
Right, because they're winning everything else, right? You figure, like, well, okay, it's obviously the best at everything.
Now, I got to be honest. I really think the best score, Red Dead score, is phenomenal. I think it really should have been between Celeste and God of War, because I think the score for God of War was just as maybe more phenomenal than Red Dead. The score really brought tension, or whatever you're doing in the game, that score really was sort of like, how can I put this? You know, whatever you were doing in the game, that score really brought the feeling out of you, right? When you get an intense battle, or you're having an intense conversation, or a moment of sort of like one of those down moments where he's talking to his son to try to explain to him, and he can't bring the words just can't come out of his mouth of how to talk to his son. Like, the score really brought you in. I thought the score for this, I think, the more I talk about it, you know, the score for Celeste was phenomenal too, but I think God of War should have won best score as well.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely really good. It fit the mood of every scene, just, you know, kind of perfectly. Just kind of big epic orchestration when it needs to, and then everything kind of gets kind of quiet when it needs to. So yeah, I'm kind of with you there.
All right, let's get into some of the things that happened during the show. Something miscellaneous that just came out of nowhere. They made it into a big deal.
Right.
Was the Magic the Gathering is becoming an esport now. And starting PAX East in 2019, we will be there in March. I'm sure it's at the end of March. So I'm sure we'll be there during a snowstorm. They're having a tournament there. I think it's the first esports tournament, and grand prize $1 million.
Yep. So I don't know. How are your Magic skills, Dan?
I don't, chip cherry on all that sort of rubbish. I have to go back to my Harry Potter. I have to get
Cheerio and all that. Not that kind of magic.
It's the only magic I know. I'm sorry.
Oh boy. Well, then we got a problem. Because I haven't played Magic in like probably 15 years or whatever. I lost all my cards, so yeah, I definitely won't be competing in this. But $1 million is
$1 million, man. We could try.
Yeah, it's a good amount of money.
And one of the biggest and one of the biggest stories that happened earlier in the week before the Game Awards was Epic Games. They announced that they will be launching an Epic Game Store to compete with Steam.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that they said that to be competitive was, I think Steam takes like 80%, 20%. No, they take 30% of the cut, right, from developers.
Mm-hmm.
Developers only get 70. The Epic Game Store will be only taking 20%, so 10% less than Steam. So they had no announcements other than, they had no games that they were going to come out with. They had no sort of launch date. It just sort of launched during the Game Awards, right? Because they showed awesome games like Hades, which I was all about. I really was looking forward to that. Hello Neighbors, the sequel. Well, it was Hello Neighbors Hide and Seek, the sequel to Hello Neighbors. Ashen and Journey, which was Game of the Year for IGN back in 2009, maybe. That came out
a while ago. Yeah. Journey is kind of a very unique game. Very. You basically can't die in that game almost. You just kind of go around and explore and whatnot. Very interesting game.
So all 4 games were announced, and other games too were announced for the Epic Game Store, and it sort of just launched it sort of just launched during the Game Awards.
Yeah. That
was it. All you saw was that Epic Games logo store, right? Like that's all you saw and everything.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of still in its infancy, Some people were speculating that it's going to be, a Steam killer and whatnot. I mean, Steam is very much established. Steam got launched with, I want to say Half-Life 2 was the first game to be on Steam, and then they just started snowballing like crazy, and that came out in like 2004 or 5, right? So it's been a while since kind of Steam has been out. So they have a lot on their platform. The Epic Games thing is brand new. Granted, I think you were telling me that developers get a better cut of the profits for well,
I just said that they're taking 20% instead of 30%,
right?
And that's the same thing that Apple does. Apple takes like 35% cut,
right? So
it looks like according to PC Gamer, developers are looking to port all their games to Epic Game Store because of that. Mm-hmm. Right, everyone's looking to come on to the Game Store, even though it doesn't have a big following as of yet.
Well, it's brand new, yeah.
But they have a lot of money behind them. Fortnite is making them $1 billion plus, right? Mm-hmm. So they got a lot of money, and it doesn't matter if you're not using Unreal Engine. You can use any engine you want. You could be on the Epic Game Store,
right?
So that just makes sense. I think this is not a Steam killer, but good competition, right? This is the console wars, PC version 2.0.
Well, what I'm curious about is once they start get up and running, is that 20% cut going to stay, or is it gonna bump up to 30?
I would say that all depends on Steam. So, will Steam and Apple raise their rate, right? Or will
Steam
they cut
Epic,
their? No, Steve and Apple. I mean, Apple. Now, even if you put apps in
the Apple Store, I see. You're throwing them in the mix as like the mobile game.
Just the market itself. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Steam Valve when they did this, they looked at the model that Apple does, right? Mm-hmm. And I think Google Play Store too, right? Everyone takes like 30% cut. Mm-hmm. And they said this is what the market is saying, right? We take a 30% cut, and Epic is saying we want to be competitive in the market, and we're going to take something lower than that. We're going to
exactly.
Right. So will Apple take more? Right? Because right now Apple's a little bit in trouble. Those new iPhones ain't selling. I for the first time, and I'm an Apple apologist. For the first time, I have not upgraded. I'm waiting for the next Apple. Give me the new revision. Give me something.
Trust me. I managed to get some stock in Apple, and I've been tracking it, and it has been consistently going down. Their numbers are not doing well.
So they're panicking, right? So what will they do moving forward? Will they? And this may not coincide. This may not mean nothing. They may stay at 30%. I just want to know. If they go up to 30, if they go up from that 35% and maybe cut to be more competitive with Epic, I don't know. Mm-hmm. That will all determine. Mm-hmm. We'll see. I know I don't have Steam. I'm not a PC gamer, but it's interesting. I'll be keeping an eye on this to see, the Epic versus Valve war, right?
Right.
All right, but let's get into the thing that everybody wanted to know at the Game Awards. Everybody wanted to see the game announcements, right? We had over 10 new game announcements.
Yeah. Chock full.
And a lot of them were on Epic, the new Epic Game Store. A lot of them with the Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
So out the gate, we got a brand new game. Something that no one. There was no rumors. They kept this
definitely a left field. Definitely a left field hit right here.
Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3. It's coming out in 2019, and not only is that game coming out, which was I think everybody really loved Marvel Alliance 1 and 2. I have both of them for PSP, but it did come out for the Xbox 360 and PS3.
Mm-hmm.
It is a Switch exclusive.
Yeah. So it's weird that it's a Switch exclusive, but it's also great that it's a Switch exclusive, right? Like they had to have paid some money to not have it be cross-platform because this game ideally should be on every platform and the smartphones, right?
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? This is the first time that we're seeing like a real true Switch exclusive, like from a third party developer, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got something that also came out of, well, actually it was leaked earlier in the day, I think by Kotaku. But if you weren't in the know or you weren't checking out the if you weren't on if you really weren't on the internet earlier in the day, this was a surprise during the Game Awards, but it did leak earlier in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Far Cry New Dawn coming out February 15th.
Yeah, which is essentially Far Cry or Ubisoft getting in on the post-apocalyptic world, right?
Well, I did post something on Instagram where I said this is like Far Cry meets Fallout.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
It takes after events after Far Cry 5. Spoilers, because they spoiled it during the show. The end of Far Cry 5, there's a nuclear event. Holocaust that blows everything away.
Yep.
And this takes a few years after that. Not too long afterwards, because at the end of the trailer for this, the protagonist, the bad guy from Far Cry 5 made sort of a special guest appearance. Yeah. So he's still alive. He didn't die in Far Cry 5.
Crazy.
Spoilers, I still haven't beaten it.
Same. Yeah, we just kind of talking about it earlier. We both played a little bit of this game,
but this makes sense because when Far Cry 4 came out, I forgot what year it came out. Was it maybe 2014? I think it was 20. Right. Don't quote me on the year. I think it was 2014. We got Far Cry Primal that came out in early 2015.
Right.
Which was I thought Far Cry Primal was a way better game. Premise.
It was weird too that the antagonist of Far Cry 4 was in Far Cry Primal.
No. He lived so long, right? No.
Imagine. Well, he has this time traveling DeLorean where he can just kind of go through time. It's weird. No.
And you can control animals and stuff.
Yeah, right.
So I know this really, Dave, when Dave heard this, he thought this was the best announcement ever. I know he was going crazy. He was like, oh my God. Dave's favorite franchise, PlayStation franchise of all time, Crash Bandicoot, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. It's coming out June in 2019 for all platforms.
Yeah, I mean, cool.
Where's your excitement, Dave? I know you were excited. You love Crash Bandicoot so much. It's one of your favorite mascots from back in the 90s.
No. I love the mascot. I just don't like the games. Crash Team Racing is a...
You suck.
Is a poor man's Mario Kart.
No, have you ever played it? It is different from Mario Kart.
How is it different than Mario Kart?
It's different from Mario Kart.
How is it different?
It has a different feel.
Do you ride around in go-karts? Yes. Do you pick up power-ups in crates? Yes.
No. There's no crates in Mario Kart.
There is, yeah. The little like spinny question.
That's not
blocks.
A crate. That's a question block.
Oh my God!
Question blocks and
Yeah, it is. It is a completely different game. Get out of here.
It's completely different.
Just no. I'll take my Mario Kart. Thank you very much.
I take my Crash Team Racing it. All right, it's remastered. It looks awesome.
Yeah, so it's the original Crash game remastered. Probably new characters. Probably some new levels. I would assume. I think they'll put some extra stuff in there.
I'm debating. It's coming out on all platforms. I'm debating if I want to get it for PS4 for nostalgia purposes or get it on the Switch.
You're gonna get it on the Switch. I bet you.
You know what? Maybe that is not out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
So also this was teased earlier in the week. Obsidian, just purchased by Microsoft, had a new RPG coming out. It's coming out in 2019. This would have been a news story real quick if it wasn't for the Game Awards.
Yeah, right. Now it's fair to note Obsidian was the house that created Fallout. Basically, some of the original team from the good Fallout games, which everyone is talking about, Fallout 1 and 2, and they were contracted to do Fallout New Vegas, which everybody loves, right? Fallout 3, Fallout 4, people not as fond of per se. So it's funny that these guys are doing their own post-apocalyptic big open world video game.
Well, I mean, let's just get into it because I didn't even announce it. It's coming. They have a new game that teased that's coming out. It's called The Outer Worlds. It looks just like Fallout.
Yeah. I mean, with kind of a different aesthetic paint, but it's essentially Fallout, which is great. I'm all about it. I'm 100% all about it.
This is coming to all platforms. This was something that was in the works before Microsoft purchased Obsidian. So this is, sort of like a prior obligation. That's why it's coming out on all platforms. It's not a Microsoft exclusive. So we'll look forward to that. We actually got a release date for Rage 2.
Yeah.
By E3 2, which is Walmart of Canada.
I'm starting to get it. Yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit hyped for this game now. It could be good.
It's coming out May 14th. So this is the May game. We heard earlier in the week that there would be a new Dragon Age game, maybe announced at the Game Awards. We got sort of a cinematic trailer, no gameplay of a game. Didn't even know it was a Dragon Age game until we saw it at the end.
Right.
It was like a new Dragon Age teaser. Hopefully this better be an E3 announced at E3 or PSX, because PSX is going to happen next year. It has to. I mean, they're not. PlayStation is not going to be.
Now they're going to have stuff to show, right?
They got to have something to show for 2020, right?
Oh, they will. They will.
The Dragon Age game is not. It's a next generation game. It's not this generation. So
right.
Something that was also teased again. A lot of this stuff was teased early in the week. Was a new Mortal Kombat game, right? I think we talked about this last episode. I'm not too sure, or maybe we just talked about it before, after we recorded. But there was a teaser. There was a rumor that Mortal Kombat 11 is coming out.
Yep.
We got a big teaser trailer.
It's very polarizing. People love the action, hated the music,
hated the mumble rap. I actually saw the trailer maybe an hour before we started recording. Didn't have a problem with it. I mean, when I first heard it,
did not fit.
My first reaction was, this is different for a Mortal Kombat game, but I can deal with it. So it's coming out. This is announced and it's coming out April 23rd for all platforms. Now, this is exciting for one big reason. So far, Crash Team Racing, Mortal Kombat 11, both new games announced for all platforms. That means that dev cycle, everyone's caught up to the Switch, right? So games should be coming out for PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch at the same time. We don't have to wait for the Switch release. 6 months later or a year later.
People are realizing that it's a viable platform, right? If they have the resources, might as well put a Switch version out there. It's just good business, Yeah. Now the only thing is, you do need to take the power of the Switch into consideration when you're building your game, and it has to scale accordingly, right? This is the reason why we won't get Red Dead on the Switch. It's just not going to happen,
Well, I love I love playing fighting games with a DualShock controller. So I will certainly be buying this on the PS4. Maybe in 2020, Christmas 2020.
Yeah.
When, Mortal Kombat 11 is like $15 on sale for the Switch, right? Maybe I'll pick it up then. But out the gate, I will be picking up for the PS4.
Right.
Another game. Finally, we get some gameplay, right? When we got a big cinematic trailer, but we actually get gameplay of it. Is Psychonauts 2 coming out in 2019?
Oh my God! I knew this was in production. The VR game that they put out was kind of the first thing. It wasn't really like a full blown game. It was like a, maybe a 5-10 hour experience and whatnot. This is brand new Psychonauts sequel. Raz is part of the. He's kind of part of the organization now. He's grown up out of camp, right? Things have kind of ratcheted up a little bit. The stakes are a bit higher. He's not just running around camp trying to solve this little mystery. It looks super cool. Looks like they got a bunch of the, they definitely have a bunch of the original characters back. I think the original voice actors they brought back for this, which is kind of awesome. The art style is the same. Super excited for this. Yeah.
And then the lights go dark at the end of the show before they announced the game of the year. I think it was before they announced the game of the year. Yeah, it was before they announced the game of the year. The lights go out. And I honestly thought I was like, oh my God. Oh, this is cringy. The lights are out. They forgot to pay the electric bill. Oh my God. Right. And then we get the static on the screen. And it was the Joker from Persona 5. And we're like, okay, all right. Is this a new Persona game? Is it Persona 6? All right. Or maybe something. And it comes to find out Joker from Persona 5 will be the first DLC character in Smash Brothers.
Yep. That's wild. It's the character crossover that nobody realized they wanted.
Or saw coming.
Or even saw coming, and everyone's like super hype about it. So that is fantastic. Well done, Nintendo. No Banjo, no Crash, no Excitebike character. No Springman. Legit, like Joker from Persona. Fantastic.
So that shocked everyone. That was a well kept secret. We all were wondering. I brought the battle pass, by the way.
Of course.
So I will get this. I spent the $25. So I thought that was an awesome little tidbit. Surprise. The thing that everyone now is thinking of, well, we get sort of like because Persona is mostly thought of as a Sony. Right, a PlayStation game.
It's been more or less almost exclusively
PlayStation,
except for Persona Q. I think.
That was on the DS. Yeah, 3DS. They're thinking maybe we can get sort of like a Persona 5.2 or something like that, like Kingdom Hearts, right? Maybe we can get that on the Switch, right?
I would possibly, because I will definitely say this, that Persona did come out for PS3 and PS4 simultaneously. So what that means is that there's enough power for the Switch to handle that game. Like we could certainly get it on the Switch.
All right. So we talked about the awards, we talked about some of the miscellaneous things and the game announcements. Just overall as a show, why don't we go over the pros and cons?
Yeah, okay? I think in general, I think we were both pretty positive about this, right?
I thought it was a good show. Okay.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
So it's let me just get my pros out the way, because I thought it was a good show. It was less cringeworthy than 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I thought it was just really cringy.
Schick Razor Man.
The best moment of the night for me was when PlayStation's Sean Layden, Xbox Phil Spencer, and Nintendo's Reggie Fils-Aimé came out on stage and just said, the gaming industry, is thriving. We're doing well, and it's good when everyone is selling consoles and games, and let's keep up the good work. Blah blah blah.
Sure.
Solidarity.
It's better when your company is number one, but it's also good when the other companies are close 2 and 3.
Yeah,
I think that's the underlying message.
Yeah. It's better when PlayStation's on top and Xbox is on the bottom.
For you, yeah.
Nintendo is number 2. Climbing that ladder. It was less cringeworthy. I loved seeing all three guys on stage.
Yeah.
The stage looked amazing, by the way. I just want to say I thought this was the best looking stage. The orchestra, it's just something about having an orchestra. I mean, when PlayStation had it at E3 2 years in a row, not this year, but like 2017 and 16, I thought it was amazing.
Makes a big difference. You know, it kind of elevates the show as opposed to using kind of pre-recorded music in that case, which is what they did last year. You know, the year 2016, they had the live orchestra. 2017, they took it away, probably for budgetary concerns, you know. And this year they brought it back, and I agree. They used it to great effect. You know, they had that Game of the Year music compilation, I guess, right? Kind of medley.
Well, that was the second best moment of the night when they had the orchestra play the music from, you know, sort of all the nominees. And when they said they were going to do that, I was like, oh God. But it turned out fantastic, so I got to give it to him. That was 2 thumbs up, Jeff Keighley. Some of my gripes. Let's see. The intro to the Game Awards was a little weird because
it was definitely a bit awkward. Keighley kind of had his little perch that he was up on for most, if not all, of the show. He was kind of up there and just bringing random people on, you know, and that's kind of how he kicked it off. And
well, he had like a 10-minute pre-show, and he was just like, "Well, I guess the Game Awards is starting. Let's kick it. Let's go off. Let's kick it off."
Yeah. It was very kind of loose and ambiguous. Sure.
It should have been if I was Jeff Keighley. Okay, this is what I would have done. You have your pre-show. Have a pre-show. Okay. Right? Have a pre-show host. Okay? Don't just be the pre-show show and post-show host. Have a pre-show host. Okay? Have them, you know, do what we're excited, you know, do the red carpet where we're, you know, this is what we're excited about. We're excited about the nominees, blah blah blah. Right? Who will win? And then have like a countdown, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, you know, and then the show starts, and you can have your cinematic trailer of the Game Awards, right? And then maybe have the orchestra play, right? After that, fade into the orchestra, and then have your first game. Have the first game, come out swinging out the gate. Have this first game. Have Marvel Alliance 3 on the Switch exclusive, coming out in 2019. That's your first game trailer. Get that out the way. Let people know this is serious, right? And then you cut to the stage of Sean Layden, Phil Spencer, and Reggie talking about solidarity in gaming, and it's good when we're all doing well. And then you go to, you know, commercial, whatever, you know, sponsor, and then you come back to Jeff Keighley on stage. Jeff Keighley, I know you love being on the side stage. You need to be on the sideline. You need to be on the stage. You're the host of the show, and you're
why would you build that big stage and then not be on it? Yeah, it's a little weird.
I know you're not a comedian, and he looks like he's a little shy, a little bit, right? Just a tad bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's
sort of looks at the camera and looks down.
Yeah, it's a little bit of the awkwardness, a little bit of the polish that. You know,
because he holds the mic with both hands sometimes when he gets to me, when he gets nervous, he holds it with 2 hands. He rotates between left and right. Just be on stage. Be on the damn stage. I just want to, I want to scream through the TV. I was like, get to the stage already. He's always on the sideline. That was a big con for me.
Right.
And listen, I have a fear of talking in public. I'm not saying I can do any better,
right?
But if you're gonna do it right, right? Be on stage. This is like your 5th year hosting. Be on stage.
Yeah, right.
I got some of the awkward moments for me where the anti-vaping commercials were a little weird. Where they had
you didn't like those?
Okay, having 1, maybe 2. They had like 6 anti-vaping cuts, like, you know, commercials.
I'll say to be fair that, you know, Keighley, I don't think Keighley was necessarily like trying to get, you know, this sponsor specifically for the Game Awards. They were saying, hey, this is a venue, we have these commercials, we want to buy some time on your show, you know. And Kiwi's like, sure, you know.
Yeah, but then the same thing with the shit, Hydro Razor, right? We want to buy some time in your show and have the mascot on there. We're paying for the show. I want the mascot, right? And he just said, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit different because they had the Hydro Man on the physical stage next to him, and he had to kind of do a little skit with them, like as opposed to just having a separed commercial, you know. But yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying.
Would you be okay with that? I wouldn't. I'm sorry.
You'd pass on that, is what you're saying.
Listen, there got to be some other sponsors that want to sponsor the show where you can switch it up a little bit.
Maybe that was the best one. You know, that's definitely something to think about.
Listen, Rated G for Gamers, man, podcast. We could be on it.
Yeah.
The show again. I would say overall, even. The intro, okay, screw the intro. Jeff Keighley on the sideline, fine, you can stay on the sideline. The biggest sponsor you can get is anti-vaping. All right, fine. Mm-hmm. My biggest complaint about the show is the show should focus more on the awards and less on the previews and trailers. All right, this is an award show.
Okay? You know what? I am glad you brought that point up.
Let's give more emphasis to the awards and because a lot of like half the awards he said on the sideline, like as it was nothing. It was just like, all right, and you know what? Best indie game we have,
right?
A, B, C, D, and Celeste wins. All right, let's go to the next game.
Yeah, like he'll do like 2 or 3 to clip, because they have to get through the show. It was like a 3-hour show. They had a lot to get through. But yeah, I mean, every other 5 minutes was another trailer.
Even in the
trailer after trailer.
Even on the Oscars, a lot of things don't make TV. But they do it on the stage. They announce them on the stage for people in the arena, and they come on stage and they talk.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So it should be more emphasis on the awards because this is not E3. Okay. This is a celebration of games. The announcements, you should have big announcements sort of in the beginning, maybe sprinkle them in the middle, and maybe end with the big announcement.
Well, let me ask you this.
But before you ask me a question, let me just get this point out because I'm on a roll right now. I'm on fire. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like some of the Epic Game Store stuff, like Epic Game Store launched apparently during the Game Awards, right? That should have been a big deal. That should have been like, guess what? Epic Game Store is live today, right now, right? Like you could go there now. That should have been a big thing. It wasn't. It was just shown after a lot of game trailers. Like I was like, everyone was like, wow, okay, so that's a thing now, huh? The pre-show, there should be a pre-show and a post-show. Okay, right? That's when you get some of those lesser game announcements out. During the pre-show and the post-show, you get the big game announcements out during the actual show. But this isn't E3. Let's not have too many big announcements. Let's focus on the awards. I want to hear the developers. The best E3 you thought was Ubisoft from maybe 2 years ago when the guy was crying on stage, pouring his heart out, right?
Yeah.
That should be the Game Awards right there.
Yeah.
When they win and people are crying on stage, pouring their heart out because they didn't think they could win, and they made some little indie game that blew up out of nowhere. That is my biggest gripe.
Yeah, and I guess the question becomes like do you think that the Game Awards would be watched by so many people if there weren't so many new announcements, new game-breaking stuff, right? Because I mean that is in some ways a draw. I was excited to see I wonder what they're going to announce. When is Kojima going to come on stage and talk about the release date of Death Stranding? And obviously that didn't happen, but we did get a lot of other good news, which was cool. And I'm 100% with you. I'm just curious if people would necessarily kind of shy away from it a little bit.
The problem with that is if you don't deliver something big, then you're considered a disappointment. The show is considered a disappointment.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you're not delivering something big, and it's not E3. Okay, it's a celebration of games. It's not.
It's about all the games that were announced at E3 that came out during the year that turned out to be amazing.
Yes,
it's a different experience.
Yeah. So I have no problem having announcements at the at the Game Awards, but I don't want the Game Awards to be about
No, because it basically overshadows the awards themselves, and you don't celebrate the games that were amazing that year, right? They're kind of missing the point.
This is why when you said Metroid Prime 4 would get gameplay trailer at the show, and I said I don't think so, is because when the show's over, no one. The biggest story won't be God of War winning the game of the year, or Celeste winning best indie game, or Red Dead Redemption almost sweeping the show. It would be, oh my God, Metroid 4 Prime was shown at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Right?
I would want that if I'm Nintendo, you know.
I think Nintendo would want a celebration of games. And they would want their game to win Game of the Year, which it did. It won Zelda last year. So that's some of the things that I would do, and then just some production hiccups, minor gripes where Jeff Keighley would point to the stage. These are the nominees, and for like 3 seconds, the camera's still on him looking at the stage when it should have cut as soon as he said, "Here are the nominees," and he looks to the stage. It should have cut right then and there.
Yeah.
Instead of pan on him for 3 to 4 seconds extra.
Yeah. They definitely had some technical issues, some production issues for sure. That honestly should have been ironed out like this far in. You know, he has been doing it for a while now. He's a bit of a veteran. You know, I know they've had some missteps, but that's just a little sloppy.
So, So those are some of the pros and cons.
Yeah.
from the Game Awards. All right, so let's talk about the Kind of Funny Games showcase. That actually came out on Saturday, early afternoon. Well, at least early afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. The Kind of Funny crew wanted to have a showcase for indie games because PSX usually. PSX would have like a big PlayStation game, maybe one PlayStation announcement, some gameplay, but mostly was there to showcase indie games. Now, obviously, a lot of those indie games all of them would be on a PlayStation platform, but a lot of them you could probably get on Steam on other platforms as well. So, because we're not having a PSX this year, Kind of Funny wanted to have a showcase just for indie games.
And it was a hell of a showcase. All right. There was a lot of good stuff coming out, multi-plat. I think all this stuff is slated for 2019, right?
Most of these games are all slated for 2019. I was, I didn't know what to think going in on how they were going to do this. But they did a pretty good job. It went on a little bit long. They had over 60 games to announce.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's going to be long when you have a bunch and it was mostly just games. They did very little interludes in between. They do some on the spot stuff in random places in San Francisco and around like California, and they kind of talk for a little bit and then they get right back to the games because they knew that's what you were there for, right?
But I don't want to get. We're not going to get into all 60 announcements.
Yeah, I mean we can kind of go through some of the highlights. Sure.
Some of the highlights. All right, we knew there was a Super Meat Boy Forever. That was a sequel to Super Meat Boy that's coming out in April of 2019. That looks awesome. That's a really hard game.
Right. I believe that's coming out like everything pretty much, right?
I think that's coming out on all platforms as well. Yeah. A game that we played and dominated at PAX East, baby.
That's right. That's right. Aftercharge finally coming out. They keep doing betas and play tests and this and that. And the game is shaping up to be even better than like when we ended up playing it at PAX. So it's super hyped for that.
Coming out January 10th. Listen, man, I got back and listen. I stepped into that world. Mouse and keyboard. I haven't been in the mouse and keyboard world in over 20 something years. I stepped back in and dominated like I always do.
Yep. There you go. See, now you should really participate in like the Call of Duty esports tournaments.
I should. Listen, it's just natural. I'm the LeBron of mouse and keyboard, baby.
Oh my God! Wow, the ever humble D. Robinson over here.
I just step in and dominate.
All
right. A little game that we knew about, Toe Jam and Earl. It's back.
We knew
it was coming back. They got a release date of March 1st.
It's funny. I got to play this at Penny Arcade 2017, I think. And I was super hyped for it. It was produced by Adult Swim Games, I think. I'm pretty sure it still is. They were the ones who were backing it. It's basically a remake of the first ToeJam and Earl with like a bunch of new stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you're fans of the original, you will definitely love this new game. It's amazing.
It was a game. This was one of the most interesting games I saw during a showcase, and it came out pretty early. The showcase was like an hour, hour and 10 minutes.
Yep.
And it came out in like the first 20 minutes. This game called Moving Out, right? Where you're like trying to move someone out, and you're moving furniture around, and you have all these obstacles in your way. That would look pretty interesting.
It is 100% Overcooked with furniture, which is great. Like I'm 100% about it. You don't
think you can play the single player? Like, you think
you can. I would 100% think you could play the single player. You would probably take control of both players and have to switch between them. Because that's what you do in Overcooked. You get two characters you play as, and then you can kind of swap between them.
This was the game that popped out to me. Like all the games I never heard of, like game announcements. I was like, oh, Moving Out. That's a game I can actually. That looks like it's fun.
First of its kind. We've never had a furniture moving simulator, as far as I can tell. So
we have a farming simulator, but now a furniture moving simulator.
Yeah, moving out simulator 2018. It's going to be a yearly release.
They got Motorball, which was like a top down. It looked more like. It looks like a baby Rocket League.
It is 100% Rocket League, like top-down pixel Rocket League. Super cool. It looked kind of neat.
You seen this new action RPG?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even gonna try it. What was it? Lapis?
Lapis X Labyrinth, or Cross, I think is how you would pronounce that. Lapis Cross Labyrinth.
Lapis is gonna give it to you. X, right?
No. Lapis is gonna give it to you. There you go.
It's coming out 2019 for PS4 and the Switch. New action RPG. I knew Dave would be excited about that. He's a big RPG guy. Danganronpa Trilogy. Coming out with PS4. Not a big Danganronpa fan, but
I've honestly never played these, so I don't know.
If this was gonna come out, I knew this was gonna come out on a Greg Miller show, because he was all about Danganronpa back when he worked at IGN.
Yeah, of course.
I can care less about Danganronpa. I'm sure it's a fine game, but it's not my type of game. The biggest, one of the biggest announcements that to me, I was like, wow, I thought this would have been at the Game Awards, was we got DLC for The Messenger.
You had to go and grab yourself a towel. You were sweating like I don't know what, but you're like, oh my God.
I love that game. I'm stuck at a boss battle I can't beat. I'm gonna go back to that. Picnic Panic coming out in free DLC.
So it's a whole summer themed free DLC for the Messenger. I think three new levels, power ups, some new bosses. You're riding on surfboards and whatnot. You're fighting octopuses. It's pretty great.
We got Rival Mega Gun. It's like a shmup. It actually gets a physical release. That's coming out in 2019.
Pixel shooter, I think, right? It's got pixelated graphics and whatnot.
Pixel shooter.
Yeah. It looked kind of nice.
And the game from the Game Awards that won Best Games for Impact and Best Indie Game is finally getting a physical release. I've been holding out for a physical release, and I couldn't hold out anymore, because the end of the year is coming, and I wanted to play this game so I can talk about it, for Game of the Year discussions. And now it's getting the physical release January 1st from Limited Run Games, and that is Celeste.
Yeah. I was in the same boat here. I'm like, I gotta wait, and then boom, there it is. I
will be picking this up for the Switch.
Oh, same. You kidding me?
Pre-ordering.
You kidding me?
A game that we played, a game that you played, I watched you play at PAX East 2018, was Disco Elysium.
Yeah. Right. Fun little puzzle game, right? I guess puzzle adventure game, right? You play as a cop who wakes up, and you have to kind of figure out what's going on, and the way you answer people and ask questions and whatnot will change your stats in the game, right? So you can get positive, negative stats based on how you interact with people, which was super cool, and get an inventory and whatnot. I think it's all adventure. I don't think there's really any action at least from the demo that I played, but man, it looked cool.
That's coming out in the first half of 2019.
Yeah. I'm super looking forward to this.
We got Knife Boy.
Mm-hmm.
That one looked a little weird, looked a little strange. I mean, even how they introed the game, it was like, "Hey, you're looking for something weird?" with Nick Scarpino.
Yeah, they're like, how did Nick get in here?
That game definitely was weird. Knife Boy, that caught my eye too. That's coming out in 2019. I don't know if that's coming out on all platforms. I think that could just be a lot of these games are coming out on the Epic Game Store. They have like the Epic Game Store logo on it and Steam. So a lot of these are just PC games as well. The game that I'm also really, I mean, we talked about this months ago. I'm looking forward to is, and this is a working title, Hardcore. This was the unreleased Genesis game,
right? From RIP from company Psygnosis, who made the Lemmings games, and I believe the early Wipeout games, right? Which are some of the best games of all time, if you didn't know.
And that's
they never.
Well, go ahead.
Well, they never got to release this game, right? They were making it for the Genesis, and it kind of just fell by the wayside. So,
well, the Mega Drive, right?
The Mega Drive. Well, sure. Right, because they were like a European company, so it makes sense they would put it on the Mega Drive, which is what it was called in Japan and in Europe. Here we got it at the Genesis for some reason. I think some sort of copyright situation that was going on, so they had to change the name. But it looks awesome. Super retro. PS4 Vita exclusive, I think, right?
I don't know if it's exclusive, but it's definitely coming out for PS4 and the Vita. Will we get a physical release for the Vita? Is the question.
Maybe.
That's awesome.
Maybe.
I would get that in a heartbeat. Maybe change the title. Hardcore, maybe not.
Of course you would.
I don't think
Dan Robinson getting a game on the Vita, if available, not surprising.
I'm hanging on. The island is sinking. I'm climbing.
The island is already sunk. I don't know how you're still floating.
The island is sinking. I've climbed up on top of the tree.
Oh my god! Okay. Yeah, climbed on top of all the limited run game boxes that are getting released for it.
There you go. So if you were early adopted the PS4, you know one of the best PS4 games, for the early adopters was Resogun. Okay, Resogun was a great sort of like shmup game.
Yeah. You were definitely super big on it.
Super hard. Still don't have a physical release, limited run. Looking at you, but they're working on a new game called Storm Divers. Not something I'm too interested in. I mean, again, it's sort of like a multiplayer shooter, right? Where you have a rocket pack strapped to your back, and you can sort of fly across the screen and snipe and shoot people in the head as you come down. It looks cool. Not something that I would be super interested in.
Yeah.
And then we got a game. This is not in the world of Yakuza, I don't think. I was a little unclear during the showcase. I think this is just from the makers of Yakuza that work at Sega. A game called Judgment that's coming out in summer 2019. Definitely reminds me of a Yakuza game or Sleeping Dogs in that
100%.
Sort of that realm.
Yeah.
I was excited about that. That was one of their big announcements, right? Right. That's not an indie game. That's coming from Sega. And they ended the showcase, and I was so happy with this. We got a trailer for The Walking Dead, the final season. Telltale Games is gone, right? Essentially, right? The last thing they had to do was work on that Minecraft game for Netflix, which actually, you know what? I forgot to try. I gotta go on Netflix and try that out and see how that actually works.
I think as gamers and podcasters, we would be remiss if we didn't see how it plays out, because we're both super curious and we keep saying like we should totally play it. So, you know what? The Walking Dead thing, that just reminded me. We forgot to mention the Stranger Things season 3 game that is coming out. Right, the season got delayed. Right, it should have been out this Halloween, like it was last year. Some delays for unknown reasons, but I believe the same game company that made the second Stranger Things game is now making a 16-bit version of Stranger Things, and it'll follow the events of season 3. So I'm kind of super excited about that.
Do you remember that game? Was it not Super Hot? Oh, Hotline Miami.
Oh right? Yeah.
That's what that game reminds me of, like Hotline Miami.
Yeah. It's a little different. Hotline Miami is.
No, I know the games are different, but it reminded me of Hotline Miami.
A little bit, the style and whatnot. Yeah.
So, all right. So we actually got to take a look at at the Walking Dead final season. Mm-hmm. Skybound Games have taken over for Telltale.
Yeah. They hired most, if not all, of the old Telltale staff.
They got about 40 staffers in the old Telltale building.
Yeah, that's really funny that they did that.
And the next episode is coming out in January.
Mm-hmm.
January 15th, I believe. Yes, 15th.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So I hope I want the physical release.
Of course you do. Who doesn't want a physical release of these games, Like, it's just a matter of, it's almost not even a matter of if, it's a matter of when, right? They're probably going to come out eventually. If the games do really well, it's guaranteed a matter of when, because there's so many companies that are taking up the mantle of like, well, hey, there's a lot of collectors out there. A lot of people would buy the physical versions of them, Limited Run has definitely proved that out, right? So now we have like I Am 8-Bit and Special Reserve Games who did the wonderful version of Enter the Gungeon that I got. So and there's definitely other companies too, There's I think PlaySoft Asia maybe, they do like physical
Play Asia.
Play Asia. Yeah. They do a physical release too, so it's a good time. It's a good time right now.
But overall, I thought the showcase was pretty good. Pretty long. I mean, I don't think they needed to show 60 games. I mean, they were probably surprised by how many people wanted to showcase their games on the showcase.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could have been cut to maybe 40 minutes.
Well, then you have to cut a lot of the games, though, right? Don't you want more content?
I guess so. Maybe show those games somewhere else. Maybe on another. Maybe in a pre-show, post-show. But this was all pre-recorded. It wasn't live, or they weren't on stage or anything like that. Yeah, so no. I mean, I get. They showed love to 6. It was just a little long for my taste. Mm-hmm. But I like the way they presented it. Now, will they have a kind of funny game showcase 2 next year if PlayStation has PSX? We don't know. Remember, they had this showcase specifically because PSX.
Right. Someone they saw there was a gap. There was no place. I mean, there wasn't really a good showcase to have all these indie games. Kind of Funny says, you know what? We know a lot of these game companies. Let's reach out and try and make a thing. If PlayStation's not going to do it, we can have a thing and just throw it online. Next year they may not have the exclusivity for a lot of this stuff. And then it's like, well, maybe they don't need to do it in that case.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if there's a PSX. It'd be interesting to see if they do something like this to have indie game showcase. Because if they do have a PSX next year, guaranteed that the focus is going to be on the next generation. So, but overall, it was a good showcase and a good award show.
Yeah, and it's also been a good episode of Rated G, Dan. Episode 143 in the books. I can't believe it. The year is almost coming to an end, and you know what that means, Dan. It is coming very soon that we announce our gaming nominees for Game of the Year. 10 nominees, 5 each, 5 from you, 5 from me, and then first episode of the new year, we're going to announce our Game of the Year. Here is the question: will The Order 1886 be nominated for a 4th year in a row?
I don't know, man. That's tough. No game in history has been nominated for 4 games. I mean, nominated for 4 years in a row for Game of the Year. But I don't think any game. It's a dynasty. I don't think any game in history has been nominated 3 times.
No,
right?
3 times. That's right. 2015, 2016, 2017 Game of the Award nominee, The Order 1886. So
will it be nominated 4 times?
Yeah. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Thank you guys for being such good fans, for interacting with us and doing all the good stuff that you do. If you want to interact with us, and we know you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Vero at Rated G for Gamers. You can email us at info@ratedgforgamers.com. So please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.